A lot of people are talking about whether or not regular seasons in the NBA or the NHL, even the MLB, even matter anymore, considering what we've seen over the past few seasons. You look at the Miami Heat last season in the NBA, snuck into the playoffs as a play-in team, went all the way to the finals. You look at the Florida Panthers in the NHL, snuck in, wildcard team, went all the way to the finals. Then you look at a team like the Phillies in baseball, wildcard team, went to the finals a couple seasons ago, and in this season, they just knocked out the Braves, the best team in baseball. How do you make the regular season matter? And that's something that myself, Albert Vartanian, Justin Pooni, and Shawn McCormick, we're going to try and do today. We're trying to find storylines and teams to watch out for to make the regular season matter for you. So we're talking NHL and NBA, and a couple guys that we're going to have on our list, obviously in the NHL, Ovechkin, Sidney Crosby. You got to watch these guys because who knows how much more time we have with them. In the NBA, it's endless with storylines. You got Zion, you got Damon Giannis, you got Harden, you got LeBron James entering year 21. So we'll talk about those things and a few more. And we're also going to touch on Victor Wembanyama, who this past weekend for the Spurs in preseason action, I watched it. I can't get over it. I'm convinced after watching that, and this is a crazy take, but he's going to be the greatest player ever. Go back and watch those highlights, and you're going to see a 7'4" guy who can play as a point guard, a shooting guard, a small forward, power forward, and a center. He's dunking pretty much from the free throw line, taking alley-oops from the free throw line, Euro-stepping from the three-point line, running the lane, crossover, step-back jumpers. I've never seen anybody do that. We also have Conor Bedard in the NHL for the Chicago Blackhawks. But the question I'm going to pose to Shawn and Justin is red pill, blue pill. Red pill being you can only watch Wembanyama for the rest of your life or the rest of their career, or blue pill, you watch Bedard. Which one are you taking? And it was an interesting conversation. The takes were good. You can go either way, really, because both these guys are going to be fantastic. At least they're supposed to be. And early days, it's showing that they will be. So we'll talk about that to start off the show. So stay tuned. And don't forget, this is Homestand Sports, and I'm Albert Vartanian. All right, Shawn McCormick.
Oh, hey.
All right, Justin Pooni.
Oh, hey.
Imagine Morpheus.
Morpheus?
From The Matrix.
Yeah. I never watched The Matrix.
No.
This is
how we're starting this podcast?
Yeah. Keanu Reeves was in that, right?
Yeah, Lawrence Fishburne was Morpheus, the bald guy.
Oh, the tight glasses. Right?
Yes, there you go. Okay. We start that again.
He was leaving.
Oh. Shawn? Justin?
Hey.
Imagine Morpheus walked in here.
So should I just pretend that we didn't have a conversation off camera? That
Imagine Morpheus walked in here. He had red pill, blue pill. Mm-hmm. Blue pill is you can watch Victor Wembanyama for the rest of your life.
Okay.
Or the other pill, because I forgot which color I said already.
Red.
The blue pill is Conor Bedard. You got to pick one of those pills. You take one of those, and you can only watch one of those players for the rest of your life. After what I saw this past weekend with Victor Wembanyama, I sent you guys a message.
Yes.
He's going to be the greatest player of all time. And we'll get into that.
Extreme hyperbole, but...
Okay, what pill are you taking? Justin.
I'm taking the Wemby pill still.
Yes.
No, because you think about
Hold on, let him go.
Think about it like this, right? Bedard is great, supremely talented, but we've seen players kind of like him before, right?
Yep.
If I want to take a pill to watch one hockey player for the rest of my life at their apex and their prime, it's Connor McDavid, right? That's currently playing. Of all time, we can get into that later, but... Connor McDavid, by far and away, be the only player I'd want to watch because of the speed, the skill, the way he could have that high amount of skill at such a high rate of speed, right? That's Connor McDavid. Connor Bedard will be a great player, but I just don't think I wouldn't want to watch him. Whereas with Victor Wembanyama, did you see what he was doing? He Euro-stepped into a dunk.
From the three-point line.
From the three-point line, right? No. He's hitting contested through, and not only contested because he's so tall, but like he's pulling up for three and stuff like that. That's something we haven't seen. I want to watch Wembanyama.
My take is kind of the same because I look at Bedard and I love watching him play so far over the past couple of games. Shot attempts are like through the roof. He can clearly play and he's going to get better.
Absolutely.
But he's nothing that we haven't seen before. Mm-hmm. Is he that much different than, Connor McDavid or even, Patrick Kane? Whereas you look at Wemby and comparisons are Kevin Durant, Rudy Gobert, Porzingis. I'm sure
hybrid.
A hybrid of all those guys, right? And he can do everything. Like this past weekend, I know it's preseason, and let's just throw it out of the way. We understand it's preseason. But with that said, he can play at 7'4", every single position.
Absolutely.
He played point guard. He can play the center. I mean, there's a chance. I'm looking at numbers. I'm like, there hasn't been like a 200 block guy since like 2015-16 Gobert. he can do that this season.
23 points at 23.
He might average like a triple-double this season. Like he might walk to a triple-double.
Maybe.
And, maybe. And we'll get to your thing too as well. Also, I look at, for the foreseeable future, coaching.
Yes.
Wemby has maybe one of the best coaches of all time.
Top 3 coach of all time.
Right? Yeah. He's got rings. He's been to the finals a bunch of times. He's dealt with these stars before. He knows how to handle them and nurture them and make them as good as he wants them to be. And for the foreseeable future, he's going to be their head coach. In Chicago, there's going to be some turnover, some change. So I'm not saying the Spurs are going to win a championship before the Blackhawks or vice versa. I just like the position that Wemby is in, and I like what he brings because it's something that we've never seen before, Shawn. Absolutely.
No, I don't disagree with your points. I think that he is an elite player that will have a very good career, albeit a short career.
Ooh.
He won't play for very long. And that's not me wishing injury upon him. That's just what you've seen out of guys who are 7 feet tall and more in the NBA. You haven't seen the longevity of a lot of stars that are that size play for very long.
Kareem played for 21 seasons?
6 out of 23 NBA players that have been listed at 7 feet tall, only 6 of them have played over 500 NBA games.
Right. But who are those players, though?
It's like Rick Smits, Mark Eaton, Zdrunas Ilgauskas,
Shaq.
Yao Ming didn't quite make it there.
Yao Ming didn't play 500 NBA games?
No, he only played 481.
Wow.
Holy, Shawn is, wow. Bringing in the heat,
I didn't know.
dude.
I thought he would have. And he's in the Hall of Fame?
My numbers could be skewed, perhaps. I got them from Wikipedia.
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
But I worry about it, too, because Wemby, albeit young, he's only 210 pounds listed.
Yeah.
That'll help him with the quickness and everything. But again, once you get into the regular season, into the postseason, it's going to get a bit tougher for him, right? The lanes, obviously, he's going to be the focus of a lot of defense. So he's going to get double teamed a lot. I mean, it's going to be tough to double team him. He's a freak of nature. He is, somebody we haven't seen, one of one. And I do believe that Conor Bedard isn't one of one. I do see what you guys see. Like, he's not. He could be the next McDavid, Matthews. He could be one of the best players in the NHL, but I do think he'll be around for a lot longer than Wembanyama will be. And that's why I'm picking Conor Bedard as the player that I want to watch. And again, I think you can't be wrong with either answer. I think they're both super elite talents, but I want the longevity of somebody who I think could break records, somebody I think could, be around for a long time, possibly win a lot of championships.
Yeah, I'll go back on what you said about 7-footers. I get what you're saying. The longevity isn't there with a lot of them. Yeah. But if you look at Mark Eaton, Rick Smits, it's a completely different era, different type of athlete.
But are you worried?
I just saw a video of Wembanyama.
Yeah.
His flexibility is incredible. He can stand up and his head can basically touch his ankles.
Yeah.
Like Rick Smits and those guys weren't able to do that. And the way athletes took care of their bodies is completely different. I think, you have the support staff around you and the money. The money is different. I mean, look at LeBron. He invests, over $1 million a year on his body. I mean, depending on how much Wembanyama is going to make, he'll be able to do the exact same thing.
Yeah. But at the NBA, though, they're going to, and you're alluding to the players who of yesteryear who didn't have the load management, right? But now
that's true
they're cracking down on that. So
I'll see. I'll believe when I see
how are these athletes that have been used to, and again, not Wemby so much, but not used to the grind of an 82-game season, maybe Wemby, That's
he did play professionally in Europe and stuff like that. But the biggest thing for me is to counter that point is you could literally it's not as physical in the NBA anymore. The physicality in the NBA is gone now, right? Yeah. You can literally, if you sneeze on somebody, it's a foul, right? The longevity of players. Again, do I think NBA players now are a lot more coddled and that's why they don't want to play as much, right? Because they never had to. Yes, but when I look at this situation with Wemby, I think. With the Spurs, again, they did it with Kawhi. They and Tim Duncan and Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili. They've always put their player in the best position to, maintain their longevity. Tim Duncan played 20 seasons? 20 seasons. 20 seasons, right? Manu played near around the same. Tony Parker had an extended career. The Kawhi situation was more so of a trust thing. And that had more to do with his personality, right? But for the majority of the time that Pop has been in San Antonio, everybody's been taken care of it, and all their main players have played for a very long time and have a whole lot of longevity. That's why I think it will help Wemby to be in that system in San Antonio where they have such good structure there. And I think, look, Even if it's 5 seasons of Wemby, I take that rather than watching 10 or 15 seasons of Bedard.
Yeah, in a short span, you just turned back to Bedard. No, but going back to like,
exactly.
no, seriously.
No, that's not the question.
I know.
That's not the question.
But going back to like the physicality in the NBA, who's going to bang bodies in the NBA? You're not going up against Karl Malone, Dikembe Mutombo, Ben Wallace, Shaquille O'Neal. Yep. I mean, centers are point forwards now.
Yeah, you
right?
still got some big guys there.
There are some big guys, but week in and week out, night in and night out, he's not going under the basket and getting pushed around.
Yeah,
and he's going to take a lot of these centers out of the equation down low anyway.
Exactly. He's going to stretch the floor. The
guy's running at full speed, crossover. Step back jumper at 7'4". I can't believe what I saw this weekend, guys. Honestly,
and
I can't stop watching.
And
those
also,
highlights.
there's a blueprint to this too. Because look at Giannis when he first came in, he was just as skinny,
scrawny,
just as people worried about his weight. Now look at him. And once he's over the years, he's built his body up. Where now he's jacked, and nobody's going to stop him going down the lane too. And I think. I don't know if Wemby's gonna get that jacked, but as time goes on and he understands his body and understands the ebbs and flows of an NBA season, you're gonna see him get bigger and bigger. The one guy I'd worry about though the most is Chet Holmgren. We saw again him and Wemby went off last week in the preseason. Great matchup, but he's somebody I worry about because he has injury problems from last year.
Yeah, he does. Yes. Anyway, I'm looking forward to watching both of these guys play. But we keep hearing about the comps for these guys. Where are you with Wemby? Kendrick Perkins just came out and said a 7'4" Kevin Durant. That was actually said during his draft scouting. But is there anybody else you can think of?
Honestly, like we mentioned before, he could be a hybrid of a Gobert, Manute Bol, maybe.
It's tough. Again,
Manute Bol.
Somebody like
Bol?
Kristaps, I think is somebody again because Kristaps can shoot the three, right? Where you're not getting too many threes from Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, it's tough because he could be the first. When people say he's a unicorn, he actually is. We haven't seen a guy like this.
Wembanyama, you're talking about? Yeah.
Because he has the footwork, he has the ability to dribble the ball too. Kristaps, I don't know, right? So when I look at Wemby play, watch the clips, everybody online. Watch the clips. You see the way he plays the game, right? It's very fluid. Right, and big guys normally aren't that fluid, right? You look at Joel Embiid. Yes, he can kind of dribble a little bit, but it's sometimes it's a bit cumbersome, right? When I watch Wemby play, it's so fluid, and I think if he can get his game right, I think and he can stay healthy, like we mentioned, the sky's the limit for.
And they just throw it up in the air wherever they want it. He'll go and grab it.
Absolutely.
He caught an alley-oop from the free throw line and slammed it in.
Yeah.
He's dunking from outside the restricted area. Yeah. These are things that we've never seen.
Exactly.
And I was just reading about his brother Oscar. 16 years old, 6'8". So watch out. There's another one coming.
Exactly.
There's another one coming, by the way. So I just wonder after Wembanyama, how many more are going to come at that height, that ability, that skill. Because that seems to be the way that the NBA is going.
We're seeing it now. The big guys that are coming in, they can now all handle the ball. They can shoot the ball. Because that's what basketball is now. Nobody's putting their back to the basket, go in the post, spin move, like that. Nobody's doing that anymore.
Yeah, bring that back.
Nobody's elbowing guys to get positioning or anything like
Love
that.
that.
No, they're not doing that no more. It's not the game.
And Wemby's got a mid-game too.
He does.
He's got everything. God,
I mean, he's got the potential to be, again, he could be an all-time great. He could be. I don't know.
He will be Shawn McCormick. I kind of feel bad. We're kind of dismissing Bedard, but that's not what we want to do. Bedard's still going to be incredible.
Back to Friday's conversation. Is Conor Bedard overhyped or underhyped?
Yeah, it's true. That's a good point. I mean, the guy's still going to be a beast, you would think.
Yeah.
But he's small, too. He's going to get pushed around. It feels like hockey, like the NHL, is going back to bigger players slowly but surely. And I'll get into that in the next segment when we talk about, what to look forward to in regular season play. But maybe if more physicality comes back to the NHL, then a player like him could be in trouble. I mean, I doubt it. That could be
again, the
crazy
rules.
to say.
The rules of the game have changed. They want guys like Bedard to be able to rack up points. We saw, remember, after the lockout, 100 points was a very big milestone. It still is, but look, last year there was an all-time high almost in the years for the amount of players at 100 points. So the game's going back up scoring wise, and so. Yeah,
they'll try to limit the interference and all that. So I'm not worried about the.
I think
like you talked about the NBA getting rid of the physicality. The NHL is loving that too.
To bring back the blue paint rule, man. No skate in the crease. Brett Hall style. So no question, those two guys, Bedard and Wembanyama, are two reasons to watch a regular season. I mean, I mentioned this in the open, but I mean, a lot of talk has been around the regular season. Does it actually matter? I mean, you can make the case for both ways. I think more so that it doesn't. If you looked at what's happened in the NBA with the Miami Heat, the NHL with the Panthers, MLB with the Phillies. But those two guys are definitely worth watching. We'll take a little break, but in the next segment, I want to go over, what storylines or teams can make the NBA and NHL season moving forward be watchable for you at least. So we'll talk about that. Okay, we got to make the regular season matter again, boys. We have to.
Make regular season sports great again.
Yeah, exactly. It used to be great, right? It used to mean a lot. But anyway, let's start. Let's rank, for each of us, must-watch teams or storylines to make the regular season matter for us or whoever's watching. If people are looking, if they don't have a team, because you're going to watch your team, but if you don't have a team, you want to watch something else, what is it? Let's start with the NHL. Shawn, you're a big Rocket Richard guy. Hey? Rocket Richard.
I'm a big fan of goals, Albert. I like goals.
You know, great movie, The Rocket. The one about Maurice Richard.
I never watched it.
But
we used to watch it in French class at school.
He's watching The Rocket. We're watching The Matrix. I don't know.
Exactly.
I think this season in the NHL, like we talked about it a bit on Friday's show, and if those who missed it, it was just like there's a crop of goal scorers and elite superstars that there hasn't been in a long time. That mixed with the rule changes and just like the way the speed of the game, you can see, I don't know, 10 people probably compete for this trophy. That's most goals in the NHL. From McDavid to Draisaitl, Matthews, Ovechkin,
Brock Besser,
Pasternak. No, I don't think Brock Besser, but I mean, he's had a good start to the year. So I love that, and I love like the little side stories that are within that as well. Like, the McDavid, is he as great as everybody thinks? Can Draisaitl finally, I don't want to say break through, but can Draisaitl finally become the number one as opposed to the number 2 or number 3 goal scorer in the league? Ovechkin, right? Like chasing Gretzky. Huge storyline. I don't think he'll score 73 goals this year, as that hasn't been done in a long time. But I just love that you can watch a game any night and you're watching an elite superstar try and chase an award at the end of the year for most goals in the NHL. I think it's going to be entertaining.
Well, I thought something popped in my head when you were saying that. Yeah. The fact that we don't talk about the Art Ross trophy because it's already a given that McDavid's going to win it, doesn't that just speak
for most points? Yeah.
Doesn't that just speak to just how that conversation is completely gone? It's now moved to goal scoring.
Yeah, as long as he has legs and he's able to play, he's going to win that award.
Yeah, and I do agree with you. I think you mentioned all the guys you mentioned, but
on a night-to-night basis, how do you make that matter to you? Who are you watching? What players are you watching? What games are you watching? Because it's more of a marathon type deal with the Rocket Richard, right?
Yeah.
Night to night, you're not going to get a hat trick from Matthews every single night. Maybe. I mean, he's on that pace. Sorry, Justin Pooni doesn't want that to happen. But
that's fine. No, I with the Rocket.
Yeah, no, I hear you. But I mean, again, that goes back to the marketing of the NHL. They're doing a better job of that. Goes back to, again, because there's so many of these star players, you're going to see a lot of these matchups, and the NHL likes to highlight those matchups on their Wednesday night rivalry, their Saturday nights, etc. Does it make the regular season matter as much to the common fan? Probably not.
I mean, if you got a little bit of do-re-mi on it, then it does.
It definitely helps.
I will say that if there's one thing to make the regular season matter for you, even if you're against gambling,
a few shot props, a few goal props.
Well, be betting night in and night out. I'm not saying go bet the bank and bet what you can't afford. Yeah. But when you bet on games, it makes it much more entertaining. Absolutely. I'll tell you that.
You have a way more invested interest in games.
82 games is a grind, bro.
It is. And think about it. Right now, the season just started, right? And everybody's all excited, but give it like a couple weeks. It's going to go right back down.
It's true.
It's going to slow down, and it's going to pick up again in like end of February when the playoff chases pick up again, right?
Yeah, November, December is a bit of a grind.
I think it depends, right? Like, I mean, Albert and I are Leafs fans, right?
You're right.
And I'm not saying like it's not a foregone conclusion, but right now we assume that the Leafs are going to make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Like we almost count on it.
Yeah,
and it's a fun team to watch. But sometimes we take that success for granted, perhaps. At least I'm coming from my point of view. Mm-hmm. Whereas I'm like, yeah, like this game might not matter as much. I don't need to watch Leafs Columbus because I assume they'll win. And I assume that at the end of the year, I'll find the Leafs in the playoffs. And then I can really focus in on it.
Brother, last season, from January on, we knew the Leafs were going to play Tampa Bay.
Yep.
Pretty much, yeah.
That can't happen. This is what I'm saying by
playoff
the regular
format
season not mattering.
The playoff format is terrible.
Make the regular season better. Change the playoff format of the NHL.
Bettman doesn't want to do that though. These changes aren't going to come. If anything, they might add more games.
Oh, that's how you make the regular season great. Just get rid of Gary Bettman.
Yeah, no, but it's true. NFL, NBA, NHL.
Yeah.
I think it's more likely that they'll add more games than take away.
Well, the NFL,
it's all just a pure money grab, right?
The NFL added, that one extra game. They eliminated one preseason game, added an extra game for more money, right? The NHL, some teams play like 6 to 8 preseason games, right?
It's a little different.
It's crazy, right? But even but I could see okay, fine. You can only play a max of 3 to 4 preseason games, and they add an 86 game regular season.
I think they should change that preseason thing, especially in the NHL, because guys, this isn't the 80s or the early 90s. Yeah. Guys are coming in
already in shape.
Yeah.
But think about it's tough because even again, I'm going to say for Leafs, right? The Noah Gregor, right? Wasn't he like a PTO, like a tryout?
You can still have that.
But I mean, I think seeing him in the preseason, seeing him in game action was part of the reason why he made the full squad, right?
Yeah.
So
again, those preseason performances don't translate in the regular season. Let's be honest.
Yeah, have you noticed Noah Gregor in the regular season so far?
Yeah, he scored a goal, didn't he?
Come on, son. Noah Gregor, what are we talking about?
No, I'm saying there is a point to the preseason, I think, that is different than just people coming in and getting into
I think you need a couple of games, come to speed.
Yeah, for bubble guys on the roster, but for those May guys, it's just...
these guys are all working on the offseason.
No, of course. Well, most of them.
It's not
how many times have we talked about athletes who don't stay in shape? Well, I'm going to get to one in a few minutes.
Right. Yeah,
Bartolo Colon. Alec Manoah.
Yeah, good point. Vladdy. Toronto guys, what's going on here?
You guys are going back to the
I'll go one for the NHL. I'll go watch as much Crosby and Ovechkin as you can because it really is coming to an end. Yeah. We don't know how long. I mean, Crosby has 2 years left on his deal. He'll be 37 at the end of his deal. He was asked about it, and he's like, I'm just worrying about my 1 year at a time. Essentially, I think once this deal's up, it's over. But I feel like with Kyle Dubas going over there, keeping Malkin, Letang, bringing in Carlson, Riley Smith. Who knows? Maybe the Penguins make a push. They just missed out last season on the playoffs.
They did.
The Blackhawks winning the last game of the season, which I couldn't believe. So the Pens pushing for another cup. Then you have Ovechkin, like you mentioned. We talked about this stinger that popped up when Bedard scored his first goal, chasing greatness. Ovechkin is actually chasing greatness. 72 goals to go. Yeah. He'll end up breaking it. But, I mean, maybe not the same in terms of team achievements because the Caps most likely probably won't even make the playoffs. I don't really know what position they're in right now. But and I'll talk about this when we get to the NBA. When it comes to these legends of the sport, we have to appreciate them while they're here. Because then sometimes when they're gone, you'll start seeing highlights like, oh man, I wish I watched more of that player.
Yeah.
We'll say that with every single legend that comes through a sport. And I think you have a limited amount of time with them and they're both still playing at a pretty high level. Anytime that they're playing, I think you have to tune in and watch them play.
Yeah. And look, similar to what you were saying, I wanted to see what's next for the Capitals and Penguins. That's what one of my things is they're kind of in two different positions. I think the Capitals, like you mentioned, not a good team, but their sole focus now is to make sure Ovechkin breaks that record.
Sure, yeah.
That is the only thing the franchise wants to do. To have Alex Ovechkin, who's been the guy that took this team from, a dumpster fire for years, and then brought to relevancy, playoff struggles for years, and then finally broke through, won the Stanley Cup, and now to have him break Wayne Gretzky's all-time goal-scoring record, it would be a great wrap to his career, a great wrap to, his time in Washington. And then you have the Pittsburgh Penguins, where you have, Crosby, Malkin, Letang. I disagree with what you're saying about once his contract is up, Crosby's done. I could totally see a situation where Crosby, Malkin, and Letang all
re-up again.
Malkin and Letang re-up last year, or was it the year before?
Last year.
Right? I could see Crosby signing a whatever deal to make sure they all finish at the same time. Because they just passed Mariano Rivera, Derek Jeter, and Jorge Posada as the only three teammates to play consecutively for 18 seasons now or something like that. Yeah. So I could see them all walking away together, right? But like you mentioned, those two...
How cute would that be?
That'd be a storybook ending, right? But those two teams kind of define an era of hockey. Now we're in this era now where McDavid,
from the rookie season on.
Yeah, from McDavid. Remember, they're hailed as the Bird and Magic, right? Yeah. Never really got to that point. We saw they played the playoffs and then the Capitals finally got over to that Penguins hub. But Now you see that now they're kind of phasing out, and we're seeing this new era of McDavid, Matthews, all those other guys, right? But those guys were placed in a difficult position, right? When you look at the NHL when they came in that rookie year, that was a lockout. They lost a whole lot of fans. People were upset. And those guys, whether you want to say it or not, brought the league back up, right? They brought it back up through their individual play. And then Crosby, of course, winning a bunch of cups and all of that. And what if Crosby never got hurt from those concussions?
No, it's true. Yeah,
right?
you can question a lot of those things. But and another thing, both players staying with their team from the beginning. By the time Crosby's contract is done, it'll be 20 years with the same team.
Damn.
And like I said, from the rookie seasons on, one thing that Ovechkin has on Crosby that Crosby can never get back, the Calder.
Yeah.
Which I love about this story between the two. Yeah, Crosby's at the Cups, but that first season, Ovechkin caught him.
I'm just glad Ovechkin got one.
You're an Ovechkin fan.
I am. They should rename the Rocket Trophy, but they won't because he's Russian.
Oh, that's a whole other conversation, but probably, I don't think you're wrong.
He's won it 9 times.
I don't think you're wrong, yeah.
How many times?
But usually it takes until, I don't know, who knows, maybe a decade until the guy, after he's retired.
Ovechkin's won it the most.
Yes? Okay.
Yeah.
He's an animale. Dude, and he's still going. Like, scored 42 last season, 50 the season before.
He'll get 50 this year.
Maybe he scores 73.
I don't know, 50 this year?
Yeah, he was without Backstrom, Carlson, Tom Wilson all missed a bunch of time last year. As long as, Ovechkin stay healthy, I think he breaks 50.
I got one more for the NHL. It's the Atlantic Division in the East. I think it's one of the most compelling divisions in hockey because you have 3 teams now, up-and-coming teams who want to take over some playoff spots. You have Buffalo, Detroit, and Ottawa.
Damn.
Top 3 teams in the longest playoff droughts in the NHL. Buffalo looked so good. Young players. Same thing with Detroit. Ottawa, they're ready to take that leap. They were close last season.
Kind of fell apart at the end.
Beat Tampa last night.
Yeah, then you got Tampa Bay, right? There's a bit of, I don't know, not turmoil. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but...
it's weird what's going on there because they got the Stamkos contract that the comment.
Yeah, Vasilevsky's out for 10 weeks with back surgery, and I think that's a huge loss. No one's really talking about that. People are just assuming Vasilevsky's going to come back and be the same Vasilevsky. Maybe he can be. Maybe he's a freak of nature that way. But 10 weeks, you got the Stamkos thing. They're going to drop off a bit. Then you got Boston. What's Boston, right? Best team ever, best regular season team ever. Get bounced in the first round in 7 games against Florida. Then they lose Patrice Bergeron. I think Krejci's gone as well. So 2 staples of that organization for so long are now gone. Marchand gets to see. The goaltending wasn't that great in the playoffs. What's going to happen with Boston? Then you got the Leafs. Everyone's like, I feel like across the board, every quote-unquote NHL expert has pegged them to win the Eastern Conference and the Atlantic Division. I'm not convinced of that.
You see all those same experts. None of them have picked them to win the Cup.
Yeah, of course. So
all Edmonton.
There's that. I'm not convinced of that. They got off to a good start. It's a new look Leafs. Let's see what they're made of. Yeah. This seems to be a Leafs team that's being built for the playoffs, not as much for the regular season. And then in this division, you have the toughest guys in the NHL. Milan Lucic, Arbor Xhekaj, Ryan Reeves, Tanner Jeannot, Brady Tkachuk, Zach McEwen, Austin Watson. All these guys were league leaders in fights last season. And listen, I don't know how you guys feel about it. I'm sure you feel the same way. I love fighting in the NHL.
I do too, yeah.
When it matters, when it makes sense. Like Ryan Reeves against Xhekaj, Ryan Reeves against Foligno. Like big tilts. I want to see Reeves and Lucic go at it. If it matters in a game that matters. So listen, you want action, you want unpredictability. I think you have it in this Atlantic Division.
Yeah, and look, and you mentioned it, like everybody, that division was dominated by Boston, Tampa, Toronto the last 3 years. And we think that this year, can those teams, you mentioned the young teams like Buffalo, Detroit, and Ottawa finally take that step to compete?
Yeah.
Right? And honestly, I think I said it the other day that I think the Battle of Ontario, right, is a rivalry that needs to be brought back for hockey.
You notice that they're talking about it a lot more. And Max Domi's been talking about it a lot too.
Like, again, you guys would know better than me being Leaf fans, but I remember being a young kid seeing those teams play in the playoffs, right? And that's something that the NHL would need back. You see how big the Battle of Alberta is, right? To have that for the Leafs and Senators would be a massive win for the NHL.
You think that's the best rivalry in hockey, Battle of Alberta?
It was.
I'm trying to think of one that trumps it, and I don't think there is one right now.
It's changed now though because
I don't know, Washington, Pittsburgh.
No, but that's a made up rivalry. The media made that one up.
Still exists.
Because Crosby and Ovechkin don't hate each other.
Yeah, that's true.
They love each other, if anything.
Well, they did hate each other in those playoffs. Pittsburgh, Philly, right? That was a big rivalry.
Yeah.
But when I look at the Battle of Alberta, it was better when you had guys like Tkachuk on the Flames. And you had that kind of pest. Yes, you got Kadri and stuff like that. But also, you look at the talent disparity.
Yeah, it's true.
The Oilers are way better than the Flames, right? And that's kind of one last thing I would touch about this season is the Oilers' pressure that they put on themselves. Can they live up to it? Because they were the only team this offseason, McDavid and Draisaitl were both very vocal this offseason that it's basically Stanley Cup or bust for them because they lost the last 2 years to the eventual Stanley Cup winners. They got swept by Colorado in the West Final and lost that series to Vegas, which, to be honest, they could have won, right? It was a very, very close series, right? And that was really the Stanley Cup Finals last year, right? Had Edmonton beat Vegas, I think they would have steamrolled Florida in the finals, right? So can the Oilers live up to all that pressure that they place on themselves? Because, again, Crosby won, Ovechkin won, but these two guys are the two best players in hockey, and they're on the same team in a hockey-mad city like Edmonton. Canada has not won a cup in 30 years this year, right? So can the Oilers finally do it and break through?
Yeah, what McDavid needs a cup. Like he needs a cup.
He'll get one though.
He's in like, this may be a crazy comparable, but he's in like a messy situation where one of the greatest players ever, but it didn't truly matter to Argentinian fans and a lot of football fans until he won that World Cup.
I thought you meant a messy situation, like as in a
well, it can get
because
get messy.
That goaltending is questionable.
Goaltending is a big, but it's not just that. You've been watching Darnell Nurse.
Look, Darnell Nurse takes
that
a lot
defense is bad.
He takes a lot of heat, and it's because he gets paid. What is it, $8?
No, he does. But I mean, the defense. Okay, the goalies aren't great, but we've seen over the past few seasons, you don't need the best goalie in the world.
No,
but if you got a solid defense and a solid bottom six and a top six, you're probably going to win a Stanley Cup, and they have all of that. Except for the defense.
Yeah. Takes the goalie getting hot at the right moment. Ask Sergei Bobrovsky.
That's a good point, too.
I think
Bobrovsky.
Seeing ghosts over there.
Yeah, I tried to banish that from my memory. Dude, that guy was unbelievable.
Yeah. I worry about Skinner and Campbell in Edmonton.
Skinner!
I worry about Samsonov in Toronto. I think in the Leafs defense is a little out of whack as well. Yeah, Justin, you bring a good point. It's tough for McDavid. It'll be tough for that Edmonton team because that's a lot of pressure on a team that doesn't have a lot of depth. And again, who knows who they could add at the deadline? They could add a goalie. They could add some depth pieces. I do think they're poised to make a deep run, but maybe I see them as like the new Leafs. Whereas they'll get there and they're very good.
But they've made it farther than the playoffs than those Leafs teams have already.
Right?
Everybody has, man. It's
true.
Okay, one question to wrap up this segment.
Yeah.
Does Connor McDavid finish his career as an Edmonton Oiler?
I think so.
Shawn?
Yeah.
What if the next few seasons they don't win a cup?
Yeah.
I don't think he does. I'm going to say he will not win a Stanley Cup in Edmonton.
I agree. I'm going to go with that.
I don't know where that somewhere else is.
No.
Is it the States? Is it an American team?
He's not going to the Leafs, so you could just...
No. The Leafs.
I'm just saying for everybody out there, Connor McDavid will never play for the Leafs, okay?
Why?
You're not going to.
Do you know him?
Yeah.
You had a conversation with him?
Yeah.
I've probably come closer to McDavid than you have in your entire life.
That's not true.
Okay, where did you see McDavid? I was in a club.
I was sitting row 7 at Rogers Arena in the bench.
I was in a club. I was posted up at the bar.
No, you weren't.
Dude, I swear. Mont Tremblant. Après ski. You know what that is? That's good times is what that is. So I'm at a bar, I'm hanging out. All of a sudden I see this guy walk in with like 3 girls, like 3 blonde girls.
You're just airing on his dirty laundry now.
Well, whatever. This was a couple of years ago.
He's engaged now.
No, he was single at this time. He was single. I would never do that. I would never do that. And I look over. I'm like, oh, it's Connor McDavid. That was it. He was like the most like, you wouldn't even know what
I turned down a shoot to go to his house.
What does that mean?
Like we were supposed to film something at his house for the Concussion Legacy Fund.
Yeah.
And I got called by my former employer, like, do you want to go do this? I was like, no, I don't.
Wow.
Disrespect. Why not? Go to Connor's house?
You disrespected McDavid. You snitched on McDavid.
I didn't snitch on him.
Connor, don't worry. I'm defending you on this show.
This was pre-COVID, dude. This was like 2017.
He was fresh off the COVID. That's why I didn't want to go.
He wasn't the McDavid yet. Now he's the Mac David. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's take a little break and we'll rank some storylines and stuff in the NBA. Okay, storylines, maybe teams to watch in the NBA this season to make the regular season matter. Shawn McCormick, you got your eye on one man and one man only.
I got my eye on Zion, man.
Zion Williamson.
A lot of people got their eyes on Zion for a lot of different reasons.
Why should people be tuning in to watch?
I see what we did there.
We're not going there. We might go there. Why should people have their eye on Zion? Oh, how about that one?
Yeah, I did.
Ion on Zion.
I did that a few seconds ago.
Yeah, he did.
Did I just steal that from you?
Yeah.
Okay, my bad.
You just changed the octave in your voice.
Yeah. So you sold it better than I did.
made it sound better.
You do that. You do that a lot.
This is why guys like Drake and artists have ghostwriters, right? Because they can sell it.
Allegedly.
You can write it. I can sell it.
That's true. Actually.
Allegedly have ghostwriters.
All right, go ahead, Shawn.
Yeah, I just want to know if he can stay healthy, man. It's as simple as that. I mean,
That's a good
I think the Pelicans could be a really good team if he can stay healthy.
Yeah.
He hasn't played more than 30 games he's only played more than 30 games once in his career. That's ridiculous.
61.
And he missed a full season as well in there. Still very young. Has all the potential in the world, 27 points a game. Dominant force, and the Pelicans were second in the Western Conference before he got hurt last year. I do worry about the depth of the Pelicans, but man, I just feel like he could be an MVP kind of player if he can stay healthy. It's just, can he stay healthy?
We talk about a guy who had the Bedard Wemby hype. Zion.
I think it was more.
It might have been more.
It was more, but like the thing with Zion is it fell flat right out of the gate because he got hurt so early.
He had President Obama at his games at Duke.
That's gnarly.
Yeah,
right? Like
back injuries, hip injuries, foot surgeries, hamstring problems. Like
drafted in 2019, only played 114 games over 4 seasons. That's like 30 games.
36% of his games.
What are we doing here?
And he's got a max deal already.
See, and you know what? He's a big guy.
He looks
good though.
He looks good, right? But the thing with Zion is, honestly, like he doesn't put the. We heard about all offseason.
He's trying.
He's trying a whole lot of things apparently this offseason.
Well, hey,
I mean,
he desperately wants to get into the drama, but I just mean like it seems like he according to like the team, he's been in New Orleans more this year than any offseason. He's playing pickup in the offseason as well back in September.
Bro, I'm playing pickup at LA Fitness. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
This guy's in the NBA, bro.
Like
he's in the NBA.
When you look at
pickup doesn't matter.
When you look at Zion, right, you could look great in the offseason, but once that season starts, you don't have a regimented training plan that you have in the offseason. Easy to bulk up.
Yeah.
New Orleans, you go out one night, there's a lot of great food there. Some
beignets.
Yeah.
Beignets.
Beignets? That's like the powdered thing, right? Yeah. Gumbo, right?
Oh, I love me some gumbo, dude.
What I'm saying, Zion's proven, we've seen it before, he looks slim in the offseason, and then he puffs right back up, right? He does.
No, he's true. You're right. I want to see him at NBA speed.
Yeah,
Let's see that.
When Zion is right, and when Zion is healthy for those 114 games or whatever he's played, unstoppable, like 70% from the field, all that stuff, right? Zion is that guy when he's healthy. He's never healthy. He's never on the court. And how much does he really want? He's already got paid a whole lot of money.
Sure.
He's got a signature shoe with the Jordan brand already, right? What does he need to worry about? Is there pressure on him right now from New Orleans? Not really.
This is what Michael Jordan's been talking about. Too much up front for a lot of these rookies, a lot of these kids.
That's the problem.
Way too much.
You got Michael Porter Jr. got a max deal, barely played.
But it's hard to hate on them for getting their money.
No, I'm not.
I'm not saying, but it can come across that way by me saying that.
Yeah,
and
like, go get what you need to get. Go, secure your family.
Absolutely.
But if you don't have the right people around you, as cliche as that is, you're going to go in the wrong direction. Yeah. Bro, imagine you're 19 years old. Michael Jordan calls you, gives you a shoe deal, and you get $100 million. You're going to lose your mind.
Absolutely.
Kevin Prince Boateng, I don't know if you guys know who that is. He was a soccer player.
From Ghana.
He played for, he was born in Germany, played for Ghana, played for AC Milan, played for Barcelona.
Bayern Munich?
He said himself, he goes, at a young age, I didn't have anybody around me to guide me. I got all this money and I went bananas. And after that, I was, made to be the bad guy and I couldn't stay with certain teams. He bounced around to like 13 or 14 different clubs.
And that's why having vets in the NBA especially is so important, because when you come in, you have all that money, right? All that fame, all that success, you could go down the wrong path. And we've seen Zion, he's going
to get into it. He's getting into it.
Let's just say he had an issue with an adult film actress over this offseason, which created a whole lot of noise, right? What I'm saying is this. When you have vets in a locker room, right, that understand the game, understand how to, be a professional, right? Comparing it to the Zion situation, Charles Barkley has said how much Dr. J and Moses Malone helped him out when he first came in the league. right? This guy was wearing tracksuits all the time. He's from Alabama, doesn't really know much about being a pro. Dr. J, Moses Malone took him shopping, showed him the ropes, right? You hear about, having vets that help make that transition. Because you mentioned, it's a big change going from no money to $100 million in your checking account. Imagine opening up your phone, any one of us, the next morning, logging in and seeing your bank account and seeing 3 extra commas there.
God, that'd be nice. Huh?
Right? That changes your life a whole lot.
No doubt, man.
And with Zion right now, I just wish that, a guy like even Udonis Haslem in Miami, right? Whoever, if there is a vet in the room that can show young guys, look, this is how we do it. This is how you keep your business safe. This is how you take good care of yourself. That is so important. And with Zion, that hasn't happened yet.
Those dudes don't really exist anymore. Haslam's the only one that really pops up to my head. Obviously, you have LeBron still out there.
And they're trying to force Derrick Rose to be that in Memphis, which I think it will help John Morant a lot because Derrick Rose is a guy who was a number 1 overall pick. Played in his hometown in Chicago for years. Won an MVP, all of that. Has gone through it all. They need guys. The Raptors sure as hell need a veteran as well. Guys, somebody that can be in the locker room that just doesn't have to play, but just understands how a team in a locker room works. That, to me, is something that they need in basketball because the one and done rule, guys come in at 19 years old, $100 million, been caught out their whole life. They need a guy in there that can tell them, no, this is how we do it. Yeah. They don't have that.
Yeah, you bring up good points. I just... it depends to me. It's more about to me is if again the health factor, and again I think if when he gets healthy, those deals will come for him as well. Again, he's had the shoe deals and stuff, but that's why he's not the superstar now. So you've seen his stock fall off, and having somebody like Derrick Rose for Jean Morant is hugely important, and because he's seen the highs and he's seen the lows. Like Derrick Rose went through it with his knee injuries again and again and again, so he's seen the lows. He can hopefully show Jean Morant how to act, man, because that's a sad situation. He's going to miss a ton of time this season.
25 games.
I think he'll be fine. Honestly, I really do. I don't know why I feel that way, but I think he can figure it out. I hope he figures it out. Back to Zion just quickly. So Gilbert Arenas came out and said if he puts it all together, he has a chance of winning MVP. So we'll end it on that. What else you got? We're looking at OKC, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now,
exciting team, Brian.
Very exciting team. They have a guy who was first team All-NBA, a Canadian, a guy who might lead the league in scoring this year.
Well, he was probably the star of the offseason, right?
Absolutely,
for the NBA?
Right? The way he performed for Canada at the FIBA World Cup, unbelievable, right? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I think this year, if he could continue on the trajectory he's on and the Oklahoma City Thunder could build up that momentum that they had last year, and Chet Holmgren is now back, and if he could stay healthy, this team could be a top 4 team in the Western Conference, right? And if they get there, we could be seeing our first Canadian MVP since Steve Nash, right? I think
that's a stretch, man. Come on.
I don't know, dude.
Well, Jokic is still alive, by the way.
But again, we know how big
the guy who didn't win an MVP last year.
Look,
ridiculous.
Give me your top 5 MVP candidates.
It'll be Luka, Giannis, Shai. I don't know, man.
Dame?
No, Dame won't win MVP because he's on the same team as Giannis.
Embiid,
maybe, but I don't know if they got the regular season success, right? Tatum, yes, Tatum.
AD?
No, AD's not. AD won't win.
Street clothes.
I don't know. But when I look at this team and I look at the landscape of the NBA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a legitimate superstar. We talked about Zion not being a superstar. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a superstar, right? The way, you look at his Instagram, you look at, he's got the charisma to be a superstar, right? He's got the game to be a superstar.
He's got the look, too. He's got the look. I like his swag. I'm not gonna lie. I can't pull that shit off.
You know what? He has the respect of every NBA player out there. You look at all people across the NBA, they love his game, right? When I look at this team, coaching is a bit of an issue for me because I don't trust their coach very much, but they have all the young talent. Once again, right? It feels like it was just, yesterday when we saw Westbrook, Durant, Ibaka, Harden, right? I'm not saying they're going to hit that level, but what I'm saying is this rebuild that Oklahoma City has done, right? Sam Presti, once again, all those draft picks, guys, they are very good. They're young, explosive, and they have a dog as the leader in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I think the Oklahoma City Thunder could be a top 4 team in the Western Conference. And like I said before, and I'll say it again, they are. Shai could win MVP.
I love that, dude. I'm not hearing that take, and I love that take. Canadian MVP, Shawn. Are you on board?
Yeah, you don't
You're
hear that.
scratching your head and you're laughing at Justin.
No,
What's going on?
I laugh. I just laugh when he says dog and all this stuff.
He's got that dog in him.
does.
dude.
No, I get it.
He's
I
for
get
all
it.
the dogs.
I want you to come on the show with that dog in you.
Roof. I got it.
guy's
It's
got
there, right there.
He's got that Shih Tzu in him.
I
So
think you said that right.
Shih Tzu.
yeah, that's a dog.
Isn't it Shiat? Oh no,
No, it's not
That's a
Shiatsu.
massage. That's a massage.
right, yeah.
man.
I've had 2 Shih Tzus in my life. We won't talk about my dogs, but let's hear about what you're going to say, Shawn.
Yeah, no. To me, I think he could be. Again, it's a tall mountain to climb with Jokic, with Embiid. LeBron is still there. Giannis. I mean, there's still a bunch of legitimate, established superstars.
So it would mean a lot more if he did it.
Oh,
in
yeah.
a season like
Hey,
this.
this is what I'm saying, man. Like the NBA voters and the MVP are voter fatigue and this type of stuff they talk about, right?
I mean, it's true. But
Do
Michael,
they want to
if
create
Karl
a new
Malone won
story?
the MVP over Michael Jordan, then that must be a real
Yeah,
thing.
but again, I think that's why they gave it to Embiid. I mean, again, Embiid had a hell of a season. I'm not taking much away from Embiid.
But he also
how do you not give it to Jokic last season?
But part of the story was for Embiid was he finished second the 2 years previous, right? And he should have won one of them. And they're like, okay, fine, we'll give Embiid. Now he deserved it fully, right? But he deserved the MVP because he came so close. Same thing with James Harden. He came close the year Westbrook won, and I think the year before that as well. So then he finally got his MVP, right?
Yeah, it's not how it should work, but I get it.
Yeah.
I get it, but I'm saying there's like 5 or 6 names I think
Yeah.
that I would hit that are established, that are going to have great seasons. That I think it's a tougher hill to climb, but it's not impossible. And again, the Western Conference has a lot of parity. Like I think between like 3rd or 4th and like 10th, there was like 4 or 5 wins between the 10th and the 4th team in the West last season, and again the Pelicans were right there, the Thunder was right there. So I think the West is wide open, and a lot of interesting storylines. There's the Kawhi, Paul George storyline. There's the Warriors. How healthy can they be? Can they contend?
How does Chris Paul fit in with the Warriors?
The Lakers. You know what I mean? Can they finally put it together and stay healthy? There's a lot of stories in the West.
I mean, if LeBron stayed healthy in the playoffs, I mean, there's a pretty good shot he'd be in the finals. I mean, that's crazy to say, but he wasn't healthy at all. That's mine for must watch is LeBron James. Similar to Ovechkin and Crosby. Guys, year 21, age 39. Like no one's doing that at his level. And it's not so much, how much time do we have left to watch LeBron? It's how much time do we have left to watch LeBron at this level? Right? He's still one of the elite players in the NBA.
Still a top 10 player in the NBA.
In the postseason, he was still averaging top 15 in the postseason, went to the Western Conference Finals, and he's going into year 21. And I'm just looking at year 20 comparables, right? So in year 20, he played 55 games, 35 minutes a game, 28 points per game, 8 boards, 6 assists, went all the way to the Western Conference Finals. Look at Vince Carter, who's played the most seasons ever, 22 seasons. In year 20, he played 58 games, 17 minutes a game, 5 points per game. Dirk, year 20, 77 games, 24 minutes a game, 12 points per game. Kareem probably had the closest in 74 games, 22 minutes, 10 points per game. Lakers went to the finals. Then you have KG, year 20. 38 games, 14 minutes a game, 3 points per game.
I don't think LeBron will take a back seat like that though.
No, but that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Those players, maybe outside of Kareem in year 20, that was truly the twilight of their career.
Yeah.
And you saw the exit door.
Yeah.
With LeBron, you don't really see that. He made mention to it after they got bounced in the Western Conference Final, but that was more LeBron doing his media thing and making it about him so people would talk about him rather than Jokic and the Denver Nuggets going to the finals.
Yeah.
But playing at this level at that age, and it looks like he's probably going to stick around until his son plays in the NBA. So we're going to see him for a while. I think we need to watch him while he still has this ability because he's going to slow down at some point.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like it's right now. The Lakers are, top 5, top 6 to win the championship. He's going to be in the mix this year. And every time he plays, I think you got to tune in to watch this guy.
Well, when you look at LeBron, right, we talked about earlier, he spends $1 million a year on his body. The guy's still in a peak, freak athletic position, right? When I look at LeBron James, and look, I think Michael Jordan's the best player, but LeBron James would be my favorite player since he stepped foot in the NBA. To see what he's doing, and he's calling this year the primetime year, right? In honor of Deion Sanders, right, on his Instagram, right? So don't get back to Deion. But look, what LeBron's doing is unprecedented. I think LeBron, when he leaves, people are gonna be like, he's still gonna play another 3-4 years, right? He's still gonna play. he will, when he retires, right? He won't have all those stats you mentioned for the guys in year 20. LeBron's still going to average 20 plus when he retires. Whatever his final year is, he's going to average over 20 plus. If it's 5 to 6 rebounds, with 6 to 7 assists a game, he's going to be that until he decides. Whenever LeBron decides he wants to quit and wants to move away from the game, but he'll always be at the top of the game. The fact that he's in year 21, and we're just still mentioning this guy as one of the 10 best players, maybe 5 best players in the NBA. Never seen him before in anything, any sport.
Yeah, listen, Shaq just came out and said he believes that LeBron is going to want to extend his scoring record. So no one can ever even come close. Yeah. He broke it last season. And if that's another added motivation, we might even see another level of LeBron.
There's like LeBron, and that's why I said a few minutes ago, like he won't be able to not play like 30 minutes a game. Mm-hmm. Like he is just that kind of competitor, that kind of driven athlete that will want to make sure that nobody can touch his records. I want to equate him to Tom Brady. And Tom Brady played for a lot of years, played at a high level. To be honest, I think you could see over the past couple of years his skills were declining. You haven't seen that yet with LeBron. You've seen him maybe get a little more unhealthy, but I still think his skill set is there. And Tom Brady, I still think if he was playing this season, would probably be in the top half, like around the 15th best quarterback in the league at his age. And I still think, and again, I think he didn't want to do it anymore because he wasn't at the level that he wanted to be at.
But I also think,
and I think that with LeBron, he's not there yet. He's still, I think, at the level he thinks he can be at. Mm-hmm. And in 3 years, you might see a bit of a decline. He'll still be a hell of an NBA player, but not where LeBron wants to be. He'll have played with his son, and that's why he'll call it quits. He could still play for another 5, 6, 7 years, I think. Probably be one of the older players to play in the league. But I just think he won't be playing at that time at the level he wants to be at, and that's why he'll retire.
See, I think that once LeBron plays with Bronny, right?
It's his last year.
That he doesn't care after that because he's done everything. He's won titles. He's won in multiple different locations. He won in Miami, won Cleveland, broke the all-time scoring record. He played with his son. Well, I think LeBron, even though he knows he probably could still play, right? I think once he realizes that, he's like, what else do I have to play for?
But he's not coasting either,
no,
right? Like it's not somebody who's just like waiting it out to play with his son.
And the Lakers need him to be at the best of his best. They want to win. Because the reason why they're in the top half of title odds is because they have LeBron James, who's still at the peak of his powers. Right?
He's not just some passenger, and we're still probably
going bus driver,
and we'll see Olympic LeBron again.
Oh yes,
So this is not ending anytime soon.
Nuts, what? Man. I said that's important, but like just the USA team is always stacked. So like LeBron,
they weren't this past offseason.
But I'm saying this upcoming Olympics, they're gonna have Embiid.
What's the nickname? We heard Redeem Team before.
Dream Team, Redeem Team, Dream Team 2.0, whatever you want to name, Monstars, whatever.
Monstars, that's good.
They're gonna have, Steph, KD, LeBron, Booker, Embiid, Dame, Anthony Edwards, maybe. They're gonna have. There's gonna be Jason Tatum, right? Like what I'm saying is, this team is gonna be when the United States gets embarrassed like that and they put it out there. This team is gonna destroy everybody, and Canada's gonna coast to a silver medal.
Hey, that's all right.
Silver, absolutely.
That's all right.
I don't think Canada's making silver.
Dude, Canada's winning silver at the Olympics.
No.
That what? Remember when the Dream Team got together and we hear the stories about the famous practices?
Yeah.
I want to see those practices when that happens.
Well, we started with
this new team,
the 2008 team.
I love that, dude.
That documentary about the team from 2008, where Kobe came in and everyone was like, okay, like this guy, we're going out and we're coming back in from our night out, and Kobe Bryant's going to the gym to work out. Right,
that's Kobe.
To tie a bow on this though, like the regular season for me in the NBA hasn't mattered in a long time because of the load management and because of their superstar players not playing. Like how frustrating is it to, again, we've talked about it, just like to bring your kids to a game and like LeBron's not playing.
I don't know. I'm not bringing kids to a game because I don't have any kids.
Well, you know what I mean?
No, I'm busting your chops. I'm serious.
So like, I think that the NBA is doing the right thing here by like trying to make it so that
good luck.
And with the in-play tournament and all this stuff, they're trying different things to make the regular season matter. And You know what I mean? And that's a step in the right direction, because for a long time, I wasn't invested in the NBA regular season. And it's going to be tough to be invested as a Raptors fan this year, too.
Well, I love some of the shows here. I love watching Zion. I think that's going to be must watch. Shai MVP, that's a show, dude. Shai MVP, if that happens, that's one of the biggest things that happened in the NBA in a long time, because that'd be unprecedented, as they say. What did I say? LeBron. I got a few more on this list. We don't have to really talk about it. Dame and Giannis, I think that goes without saying. You want to see that two-man game between them. How far can they actually go? Can we see, like, you know, that Dame that we've seen in the playoffs before, but now with Giannis, like, what's that going to look like? Harden and Philly, Daryl Morey. How's that breakup going to unfold?
It's got to break up sometime.
What's Embiid going to do? Is Embiid going to be like, you know what, screw this. I don't want to deal with this anymore. Trade me. That could happen. And then the in-season tournament, which I really have no expectations for, but I do think it can be good if the players take it seriously. I'm just not convinced that they do.
And I think, like you mentioned, like, for me on the in-season tournament, it's kind of like, okay, we'll see what happens, right? Like, I have the expectation level for that is like 0.
It's low, I know.
Right? Like, I expect them not to care. If they do care a little bit, it'll be a pleasant surprise.
They're trying.
Yeah,
the NBA.
You got to try different things, right? Look, I mean, they're trying to make the regular season matter, and that was
make it great again.
They're trying to make it great again, and that's what we tried to do today. So hopefully, we accomplished that, boys.
Yeah,
I think we did.
All right, that's it from us at Homestand Sports. Thanks for watching. We'll be back with another episode next week on Monday. Don't forget to subscribe to the pod, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Spotify as well. The video version, if you want to watch us and see our beautiful faces, will be up at the Homestand Sports YouTube. Every podcast will be dropped there as well. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Albert Vartanian. This has been Homestand Sports.